Hey everyone, it's John here from MCKAY, back with another video, and this is going to be my Stanley Cup final prediction and preview. And just to talk about it quick, I'm not going to take too much time up, just going over my thoughts and my picks. So, Lightning versus Avalanche. When we're talking about odds makers at the start of the year, they had these two teams at the top, highest odds to go to the Cup final and win the Cup. So, the Lightning going for the three-peat, the Avalanche going for what they should have been in the conversation for the last few years. A lot of people over the last few years had the Avalanche in that conversation, including myself. So when you talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning facing off a team like the Avalanche, this is by far their toughest opponent in the Cup final. No offense to the Dallas Stars or Montreal Canadiens, but the Avalanche, if they can be healthy, if they can be what they are and what we know they are, this is going to be the toughest opponent they've seen in a Cup final. So I still think the Lightning can do it. I'm still probably going to lock in with my pick in terms of picking the Lightning before the playoffs started for my bracket challenge. But it's like Avalanche, Lightning, it's a tough call here. It is definitely a tough call. I think the Avalanche are a team I've been kind of saying they're going to knock on that door and win the Cup over the next few years. But the Lightning are just on the, they're about to potentially go for a three-peat. And Vasilevsky's playing insane right now. I think when we talk about Conn Smythe favorites right now, at least in my eyes, it's probably Cale Makar for the Avalanche and probably Andrei Vasilevsky for the Lightning. You could obviously put Nathan MacKinnon easily in there. Kucherov's had his insane moments. And, I mean, Steven Stamkos quite recently has heated up. So you could honestly make an argument for probably five or six guys right now, I'd say. Probably five. So it just honestly depends, I think, in terms of if the Vasilevsky that we've seen throughout these playoffs shows up, I think this will be easily at least a 6-game series, 6-game series, potentially even 7. The Avalanche have the home ice, so I think just in that in itself, I think they'll win at least 2 games. I would say even at least 3. So for me, I think in any scenario, this is going to 6 or 7. I mean, unless something crazy happens, or unless Vasilevsky craps himself, or unless the Avalanche goaltending, just both of them don't do anything. I don't see a scenario where this Cup final goes shorter than 6 games. I really don't. I could be wrong, but in the past, when we go to the Cup finals over the last few years, Montreal, Tampa, I saw that one potentially going short. Tampa, Dallas, I saw that one potentially going short. St. Louis, Boston, I actually had going far, and it did. 2018, I said that one could go short. 2017, I thought that one could go short as well. I mean, 2017 went, I think, 6 games. But it's one of those things. I think it's really hard to predict always. But when we look at these two teams, they're the best 2 teams in the league. And they were for the odds. So I think I'm going to lock in with my Lightning and 7 pick. I think at the end of the day, the Avalanche would have that home ice for Game 7. But Vasilevsky in a Game 7 is a different animal, and I think the Lightning, I think it could be the scenario where the Avalanche are up 3-2 in this series, Lightning win at home, and then if Vasilevsky takes over in Game 7, the Lightning could win in 7 games. So that's kind of where my head's at. I think in terms of underrated, I just want to talk about a couple underrated players that could step up in this series and make a huge difference. Not even underrated, but just in terms of his return. If Brayden Point returns to this series at even 80%, the Lightning have this huge advantage. As it is, but then you see the other side where if Kadri can be at that health, then you're having a matchup game where the top 2 centers on both teams are studs. I think in terms of underrated guys that know what it takes in terms of facing off against the Lightning, you're seeing an Artturi Lehkonen who's had a really good playoff run with the Avalanche, so he could be a really sneaky piece for the Avalanche. I would say for the Lightning, again, it's maybe a biased take. It's more of a recency bias take. But Nick Paul, we saw what he did against the Leafs in Game 7. Nick Paul could be that guy, that Swiss Army knife who can play on the wing, play up the middle. I feel like he could be that guy that steps up. I also want to say something about Brandon Hagel. Hagel's had his looks, had a bunch of chances. He got that empty netter where he went nuts. He scored a tap in. I feel like Hagel, with the looks he's gotten, he's got a lot. He's had a lot of big chances where he's just gotten stopped. I think Hagel could be a guy that, at least if the Lightning can win, because, we've seen it from Palat, so, maybe more from Killorn, but there's a couple other guys for the Lightning, like a Hagel, that could really step up. Even Perry's had his moments. For the Avalanche, I mean, again, they've had their moments from a lot of different guys. Like, they've had contributions even from a guy like Darren Helm with the big goal, right? So I'm not necessarily saying that the Avalanche need a lot more from some of their guys, but if I would point out a guy that could have a big cup final that would make that much of a difference, would be Mikko Rantanen. I think Rantanen and Kadri were playing really well together, and then obviously Kadri goes down with the injury. I think if Kadri like is healthy and Rantanen and Kadri are back together, I think that double punch from the Avalanche could be so deadly, and Rantanen could heat up just in time again for the cup final. So let me know, guys. I think this series is going at least 6 games. Give me your thoughts. Again, I know that's kind of easy based on the matchup, but I'm still going to lock in with my Lightning pick for the 3-peat, but I do want to see if I had like some, I don't know, if I had to root for an outcome, I would just want the different outcome and see the Avalanche win. And honestly, I'm rooting for a guy like Kadri, former Leaf. I'm rooting for a guy like Nate McKinnon to get his first cup. I mean, what Cale Makar's done. There's a bunch of guys like Darren Helm at the end of his career here, even Cogliano at the end of his career. So, like, Avalanche, I'm down for the Avalanche to win, but I'm still just going to lock in with my Lightning pick because that's who I picked before the playoffs. And I also think the one thing I'll say before I end this video is the Avalanche have swept 2 teams in this playoff run, where the Lightning, they did sweep the Panthers, but that was like on the back of Andre Vasilevsky, and the other series were a lot, like the other 2 series were a lot more hot, like hard fought. They were a lot more difficult to win. Like the Leafs, obviously in 7 games, and then what we just saw, the Rangers go up 2-0 in the series, and the Lightning having to win 4 straight. So the Lightning are definitely having to carry that momentum of 4 straight games. But the Avalanche just swept the Oilers in 4 games. So again, it's one of those things. It's both these teams are just so hot right now, and both these teams are so dominant right now. That I hope we get a long series, and we'll see what happens. So comment your predictions, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I hope to see you guys in the videos and streams, and we'll see who wins the 2022 Stanley Cup. Have a good one. Peace out.